And with us now is I-24's Eylon Levy, who is live at the Israeli parliament in Jerusalem, where the revelations are taking everyone by storm. But Eylon, the big question on everyone's mind today is what comes next for Netanyahu? Does he have any options from this point?
That's a very good question, and exactly what people are asking here in the halls of power. It's been known for a while that Netanyahu has been under investigation in 2 cases involving bribery, fraud and breach of trust. Last week, the police submitted their recommendations that he should be indicted, although he hasn't been indicted. And in the last day, 2 dramatic revelations. Firstly, that one of the Prime Minister's closest confidants, the former Director General of the Communications Ministry, has decided to turn state's witness and incriminate the Prime Minister. And then allegations that the Prime Minister's advisor offered the post of Attorney General to a judge in exchange for dropping the case against the Prime Minister's wife, Sarah. Now, the country's opposition, the Zionist Union, is calling on the Prime Minister to resign. He's vowing not to do so. He's pointing to a poll that suggests that his ruling Likud party would actually rise in the polls, having been laying the foundations representing these investigations against him as a sort of police, judiciary, media conspiracy against him. He's determined to cling on, and with the exception of one, a maverick member of parliament who's trying to vie for attention, it appears that most of his party is standing to his side for now.
Eylon, I want to talk to you about what Netanyahu said in the past regarding Ehud Olmert, the former prime minister, who, of course, did have some problems with corruption himself. And at that time, Netanyahu was calling on Olmert to step down. Why is this case different, according to Netanyahu, in terms of him being able to remain in power while the investigation is ongoing?
Why is this case different? Because it's Netanyahu. Quite simply, it's impossible to square the words that Netanyahu said a decade ago when he said that no prime minister under investigation in such cases should continue serving with his predicament today. But he pleads innocence. He insists that there will be nothing because there is nothing, something the police are clearly not convinced of. But he protests his innocence, says that it's a conspiracy to try to topple him using legal means rather than elections. And so I suppose in his mind, even if he believes that a prime minister who's under investigation shouldn't continue in the role, he also believes that a prime minister who's under false, mendacious investigations, as he puts it, shouldn't be toppled through those means and should be held accountable only to the public.
But we do have some very strong evidence, I would say, coming from that testimony from Filber. I mean, it just seems like if you have someone like that testifying against you, how could you say that the case is essentially not holding water at the end of the day?
You're right. The more and more of Netanyahu's advisors turn on him and agree to play state's witness. This is in addition to Ari Harrow, a previous advisor of the Prime Minister's, who agreed to turn state witness. The less convincing the Prime Minister's argument is that there is nothing. One has to ask either there was rampant corruption happening around him and he was unaware of it, or indeed he's bluffing and he did know something about it. That argument is beginning to appear less and less credible by the day, but he continues to protest his innocence, and presumably that's the case he will make in court should it come to that, although I should stress the Prime Minister has not been indicted in any of these cases just yet.
And the details continue to unfold. Eylon Levy following that story for us live today in Jerusalem. Thank you. The first African asylum seekers who have refused to leave Israel were jailed on Tuesday.